Rwanda has been a country that many Africans has been looking into, because it's true you had a genocide in 1994, but since then Rwanda has done great things economically.
Yeah.
There's many enterprises. Actually, there's a lot of Rwandans who were in other countries who came back to Rwanda. So economically, it looks like this country is doing very well. Actually, it's a country that makes a lot of Africans proud. However, there is a dark side also, and that dark side is that it seems, because I'm not a Rwandan, that's why I say it seems that a lot of Rwandans do not have the ability to express themselves and to be free to talk about the things that are public, the things that are politics. So being a Rwandan and living in the United States, what can you convey to the youth of your country? What kind of hope can you stress or can you guide them to?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to discuss with you on the situation about my country. As you say, I do agree with you that there is a remarkable progress that has been taking place in Rwanda, and you can imagine where the country has been coming from. It was coming from a genocide, and it's really, the country was highly devastated, and it's like it was really starting from zero, if I can say. So that's why even progress is really, visible. Everyone can see it. However, as you said, there is a dark side that cannot be ignored, because it's like people need economic growth, people need development. That's obvious. I do agree with it. And again, as a Rwandan, I'm so proud when anything good is spoken about the country, what the achievements, everything that has been taking place for the last 25 or 26 years. But the cost of having development minus freedoms is very high. Actually, we can't afford it. It's like there is a kind of narrative as if you have to take either one or the other. You have to take either economic growth or democracy and human rights. But I have always believed in having them both hand in hand. Moving forward, having both economic growth and democracy, actually that's what we strive for. That's why we raise our voice, to make sure that Rwandan people can have economic development, but can also have freedoms. Actually, just to be specific, in 1994, until 1994, there was also a significant development in the country. It's like when you go to, when you read the books that were written by that time, or even these international bodies like World Bank or IMF, you see that time the country was also doing well. Of course, with the genocide, many things have been destroyed. That's why we have to start again. But what does it mean? With economic growth, with development, when you do not have democracy, when you do not respect human rights, you can build and the next day you can destroy. So when we are talking about having both, it's to protect the achievements, is to make sure that what we are achieving can also be backed by the freedoms and the fundamental rights which are actually recognized within our constitution, but not a reality when you go to the real life. So it's like what we are advocating for, what we want to make sure to have, is to say we want both democracy, human rights, and all the other freedoms that we know that human beings deserve. So that's how I can explain it.
Okay, very good. The last question that I would like to ask you is, For the Rwandan diaspora, so those Rwandans who are abroad, like in the United States, probably in Europe or elsewhere, those young Rwandans who aspire for democracy and aspire for freedom and more liberties in their country, what kind of advices will you like to convey to them? What kind of message can you give to those Rwandans who are listening probably via YouTube or Twitter or Facebook? What we are doing here today, what kind of encouragement can you give them in order to make democracy, human rights a reality in Rwanda?
Actually, as we are here mainly because of kind of unexpected death or loss of Kizito Mihigo. He was a young man, highly talented, and who have contributed a lot to our country. So because of that, I can say they have a role model, a selfless man who was, I can say, doing his best and giving his best. And right now I can say including his life to the purpose in which he believed in, to a purpose which was much bigger than himself. So when it comes to the youth, I can say they really have in Kizito Mihigo a role model for reconciliation, going beyond what he has been going through, his personal story, his personal, background, but thinking about the whole country, thinking about Rwandans who are not just his ethnic group. So I can say the message I can just give to the young people, they should be proud of such a man. They should be proud of working for the country just to have, I can say, another chance of young people who can be the hope of the nation. The young people who can, I can say, who can really show to the dictators, not just in Rwanda, that this is a time for change. This is a time for people to have the freedom. This is a time for people to be united, for people to come together and make sure that they have a voice in their country. So that's the message I can give to the young people, so that the life of Kizito Mihigo may be a strong message and maybe a time for them to reflect to that rich life, so that they may really draw from it a lesson that can help them to build a strong nation, a nation that recognizes freedoms of people, freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of speech, any kind of freedom that they really deserve. So that's what I can say to the young people, to strive for freedom.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.